What is going on, guys? It's Johnny 17 here, and I am getting back into this YouTube thing that I love so much, but I've been away from for quite a while. Today, I am bringing you this year's version of my Unemployed challenge. We had the save going last year where we ended up with Stevenage and worked our way up to the Premiership with Norwich. So we're going to do it again in Football Manager 17. Oh, I almost messed up the name of the game there. All right, we are starting off unemployed. We have the lowest license we could get, and we have the lowest experience we can get. If we take a look at the profile here, you can see our coaching stats are pretty awful. But it's okay. We're gonna start from the bottom, work our way to the top. Man, you could tell I am a bit rusty here. Social feed, we don't care about. Let's go ahead and take a look at the job center. We want to do this so we only have head coaching positions up because we don't care about any of this other stuff. So right off the bat, there are a few jobs. Is there any in particular that we want to try to get? I mean, obviously something like Leicester would be perfect, where there's not a chance at all we're going to get that. So we have Belgium, Brazil, a few jobs in England, a couple of jobs in Scotland. Probably wouldn't qualify for those either. But let's see, what should we do? Belgium, huh? I think, didn't I end up at this team last year? I don't remember. I have managed this team at some point, and I didn't do very well, if I'm being honest. Maybe I'll stay away from this team. I don't know. Alright, let's go ahead and we'll apply here. Whoops. We'll apply for this job. We'll apply for this job. Skybet League 1 we probably won't get, but we'll apply there. We'll apply here, and we will apply there. Probably not gonna qualify for any of these jobs. You know what? We're just gonna hit apply all. We're gonna see what happens. Alright, Eastleigh has approached us. Well, let's make it an even 50. Immediate for 1 year. Sure. Well, that was quick. We got our first job here. We are now the head coach at Eastleigh. 20-year-old American managing in England. Not too bad at all. Alright, so background. Founded in 1946, Eastleigh FC are a professional English club, currently playing in the Vanarama National League. They finished 7th last season. Play our home games at Silver Lake Stadium, possess below average training facilities and very basic youth facilities. Not great. Fairly basic junior coaching and basic youth recruitment. Currently enjoying its best ever spell of success. Their last competition win was in 2014. We're a club with a growing history. Won the English 6th tier in 2014 and won the 8th tier in 2003. Okay. What does our budget look like? So we have a little bit of money. Might not help us much because I don't know anything about these players, as you can see. I do have attribute masking on, which is always fun. So first thing I want to do is get our coaching under control. So we need a head of youth development, some youngster coachings, a physio, 2 physios, chief scout. Well, we have 0 scouting staff. Okay. All right. So I'm going to get our staff figured out, and then we will be back. All right, guys. Well, I think we have our coaching situation figured out now. Just waiting for everybody to accept contracts. And once that happens, then we'll get our training set up, and we'll also look to bring in maybe a few players, maybe sell a few guys. So again, we'll be right back. All right, guys. So we got our first signing of the season is a 20-year-old goalkeeper, Jindrich Stanek, from the Czech Republic. I think that's what it is, right? Czech Republic. Oh man, I'm so bad. He's Czech. Capped at the under 21 level. We have Ryan Clark as our main goalkeeper. I kind of wanted to get sort of a prospect-ish goalkeeper that we have sort of build up. Determination, not that great, but highly recommended from our scout. You can see he was part of the Everton system. I think this will end up being a pretty good capture for us. And like I said, if it doesn't work out, he's just a backup, and we're not paying him terribly much. So, kind of excited to see if we could build this guy up, see how high we could get that determination. And if nothing else, we just kind of build him up and sell him for some money in a few years. So we've made a few offers for a number of players. This is the second player we've been able to bring in. Haman El Faturi, 18-year-old Libyan, capped at the under 20 level. You can see he is currently traveling. He is on international duty. I think this is a pretty good capture for us. He's maybe not the greatest of prospects, but he still has a pretty decent amount of room to grow. Again, much like our last signing, not the greatest determination, but he has some good physical stats here. Maybe not the right physical stats for a defensive mid. His strength needs a little bit of work. But again, this is another guy we're going to try to build up. If it doesn't work out, we sell him for profit later. He comes in on a free. I think all of our signings are going to be free transfers. So if we could sell them for anything, we're making pretty much a profit. Matteo Caracciolo is a defensive prospect we brought in. He doesn't appear to be as good as our scout initially thought. You can see here, he might end up being pretty close to his potential. He does have that one block star, so maybe there is a little bit of room to grow. Pretty high determination, so maybe he can develop a little more. He needs to work on his jumping strength and his jumping reach and strength. 6'4" though, has some pretty good defensive attributes. Again, another prospect. A lot of these guys are prospects. We're kind of building up this organization. There's at least one first team player we are trying to get. So hopefully we will get an update on that soon. And yet another prospect. Much like the last person, we have brought in another central defender. Looks to be much closer to our scout's recommendation than the last prospect was. But you see he's pretty well rounded, not necessarily great at anything, but he's only 20, so there's plenty of room to grow, and he has decent enough determination. We will try to raise that up a bit so we can help him achieve his potential. But you can see he's not that far off from being pretty decent. His physicals, there's going to be room to grow there, but you can see he has a number of 10s. So those will be turning green hopefully soon. Same case with his defensive abilities here. Heading 10, marking 10, tackling 10. Those should hopefully turn green here pretty soon as we get him trained and getting a few games for our under 23s. But another prospect that we're going to be looking to build up in the near future. All right, this is one of those first team signings I was talking about earlier. We have Kenneth McAvoy. I have no clue. We're just going to go with Kenneth for now. A 21-year-old out of Ireland, capped at the youth level. He was part of the Spurs system for quite a while. Okay-ish personality, okay-ish determination. Not great, but he has some decent physicals here. And really, we needed a more established player out there on the left wing. We have Leacock McLeod, but he's still a youngster. He still is trying to find his way, so you don't want to necessarily throw him into the first team right away. So he'll kind of be rotating in and out with Kenneth here, but Kenneth is going to start the season as our first team left winger. Apparently, I really have a thing for bringing in central defender prospects. This is our third of the season. This is Ben Burgess, 19-year-old out of England. No international experience. Pretty well-rounded player with plenty of room to grow. Not particularly good at anything at the moment, but you see a lot of these stats are about to turn green pretty soon, and pretty well-rounded everywhere basically. So really looking forward to developing this kid. I think he could be pretty good for us in the future, especially at our level. He's only 19 and there's a lot of room for him to grow, so kind of excited about this kid's future. This is Lafferty, a 19-year-old Scottish striker that we brought in. Doesn't quite have the sort of heart shape sort of attribute graph that I would normally like, but he has plenty of room to grow. There are obviously some holes in his game, especially if you look at his mentals here. 4 composure, 5 concentration. Not that great, but honestly we needed to bring in a young striker. Our top 2 strikers are 35 and 34, so I'm not sure how much longer they have really before they start declining a lot. So we need to bring in some youth, and our club doesn't have any striking prospects at all. So this is going to be the one guy we're going to be developing and seeing what we could get out of him. I wanted to add some depth to the team, so we've signed Valentin Jokaj, maybe? I'm not quite sure. A 22-year-old central defender out of Albania. He's a bit of an older prospect, but he does have some room to grow, so if we get him that sort of first team experience, he should grow pretty quickly. I think I'm going to rename this guy, just because I don't know if that's how you say it. If Jokaj is how you say his last name. Not sure. But there's plenty of room to grow. Again, we needed some depth in our squad, in particular at central defender. I know we have a lot of those prospects, but this guy being a little bit older, he's somebody that we could plug in and not have to worry too much about. Much like our last signing, this is another guy we've added just to add some sort of squad depth. Again, sort of a, I guess, middle-aged prospect at 20. This is Taylor Tombides? Not sure at all. I'm so horrible with names. Like I said, 20-year-old Australian. No international experience. He's not quite as good as our scout thought, but he has a little bit of room to grow still. So he might end up being a pretty okay player at this level. You can see he's fairly well-rounded. Nothing sticks out as being great, but again, if he does grow a little bit, he could be quite a little nice player for us that we could rotate in and out of the squad. I mentioned before that we don't have a lot in terms of attacking prospects, so we've signed Liam O'Neill here, 19-year-old English kid, no international experience, has a fair bit of room to grow. The biggest concern here is that determination of one that is brutal. We are definitely going to have to tutor him up and try to get that as high as we can. So I'm pretty excited about this capture. This is Reese Awua, 20-year-old English kid. Mainly a left back, can potentially play on the right side. But at 20, he is a great option. You can see the 3.5 current ability. Room to go up to a 5-star with his potential. Pretty solid all-around player. Needs to work a little bit on his defense. There's some mental stuff that we're expecting to improve. His physicals look to be in pretty good shape, and obviously we expect those to grow as he is only 20. Right now, our main fullbacks have both been brought in from loan. So this is a great opportunity for us to get sort of our own player, maybe cancel one of those loans, and save us a bit of money maybe. I obviously have not looked at those contracts to see if we're paid. So Perry Cotton is a 19-year-old right back that we brought in from Australia. He was previously with Birmingham. We signed him on a free transfer. Like some of our other prospects, his determination is certainly concerning, so we're definitely going to have to tutor him up and try to get that as high as possible. But he does have a ton of room to grow, so we'll see if he reaches that potential. Again, if we could tutor him and get his determination higher, get his personality better, He could develop into a pretty nice little player. So we have one more signing that we need to talk about. This is our latest one. Peter Skepidis out of Australia, 21-year-old striker. He's decent enough as is, but he does have a pretty decent amount of room to grow, so he should develop into a pretty good player, especially at this level. He is coming off of an injury, which is a little bit concerning, so we will have to watch that pretty closely, make sure he doesn't re-injure it. But overall, I am pretty excited about this guy. I think he will develop into a good player for us. Hopefully we could keep hold of him for the long term. So taking a look at the preseason predictions, we are at 8-1 to get promoted. So we should be pretty much at the top or near the top of the table for the entire season long. Let's see, do we have anybody listed here on the key players? Rita Johnson, Ben Close, and that's it, just those two. So let's go ahead and take a look at our schedule. We just finished up preseason. Pretty good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wins, 3 losses. Not too bad. We're coming in having won our previous 2 matches, so morale on the team is high. Today we're going to be bringing you our first match of the season against Geesley. We're going to be going into this match as the favorites, but at 3-1 for Geesley, that suggests that this should be pretty close, maybe a 1-goal victory or a draw. Our lineup today, we're going to go with Henderson up top, McAvoy and Constable out on the wings, Togwell, Matthews, and Close are in our midfield, Aua, Cresswell, Johnson, and Odafin are our back line, and Clark is in goal. We'll assertively say that we are the favorites, tell the team that we have faith in them. Let's get to the match. Free kick opportunity for us in a dangerous spot, and Henderson almost puts it in, but McAvoy is the first to react, and we get our first goal of the season here in the 11th minute. Can't complain about this start at all. Henderson nearly put that in. Goalkeeper just getting a hand to it. And no doubt for McAvoy. Read the play beautifully. First to react. Really the only person to react. So we go into halftime with the 1-goal lead. Statistically, we pretty much dominated that first half. We got 6 shots, 4 on targets, I believe. But just the 1 goal. But still cannot complain about a lead. I lied, it was 4 on target. Oh, I said 4 on target again. I just lied about lying. It's 3 on target. So we're going to go ahead and make a couple of changes here. Constable is not having the greatest game by any means. So we're going to go ahead and bring in Stern to replace him. Henderson's not playing particularly well either, but he should still be better than our backup option here. Togwell knocks it ahead to Wilson. Wilson, the substitute, driving forward, gets a place shot. I think that might have gone off the goalkeeper's fingertips. We'll have to look at the replay here. But substitute scoring, making me look like a genius. Always appreciated. Wilson here, let's see what happens. Goes for the place shot. Oh no, just past the reach of the goalkeeper. I thought I might have got the goalkeeper's fingertips there, but looks like he placed it just out of reach. Corner now. We do well to clear. Stern picks it up, knocks it ahead to Wilson into space. Can we get anything from this? Wilson, nice little jump there, crosses it. McAvoy with the shot, and he nabs his brace. What a debut for the club. 2 goals, fantastic stuff. That was a great move by Wilson there. And then great first touch and second touch. And then just slots it in that gap between the defender and the goalkeeper. Fantastic play from us. So we take the 3-0 victory. Fantastic start to our season. We really can't complain about anything in that game. If we had to be nitpicky, Picking up 3 yellow cards is, a little iffy, but honestly, we don't have anything to complain about in this game. A fantastic result in our first match of the season. So if we look at the schedule, there is some major congestion here early on in the season. In 3 days' time, we have a match against Braintree. 4 days after that, Tranmere. 3 days after that, Dover. Then another 4-game gap against Wrexham. So a lot of matches here in a short amount of time. We're definitely going to have to watch our players' conditioning. They should be in pretty good shape coming off of preseason, but people that maybe didn't get as much playing time, there might be some issues there, especially with like match fitness and whatnot and all that good stuff. So we'll definitely have to keep an eye on the roster. There might be some early rotation here going on as players need rest. And lastly, let's take a look at that league table. That victory shot us straight up to the top spot on goal differential, scoring 1 more goal than any other team. It's, it's one game, gotta take it with a grain of salt, but it's nice to be on top. The next episode should be coming out in a couple of days, but in terms of the in-game schedule, the next live comm is probably going to be very soon because our schedule is extremely congested here to start the season. So thanks for stopping by, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video.